Jesús Salazar est mexicain, il est originaire du Chiapas. C'est une des belles rencontres de ma vie. One of the nice things that when I meet you in my life. Je voulais absolument que Jesús soit là. Parce que c'est la première personne que j'ai rencontrée à avoir rassemblé des communautés, pour produire des communautés qui ont été introduites au café des années 70 par l'industrie américaine et qui ont été abandonnées en race campagne. Donc lui, il a créé un système pour les fédérer, il a créé un système pour processer le café, il a monté un coffee shop à San Cristobal de las Casas, il vend du café et il exporte du café. Et on peut dire que c'est une intégration verticale absolument réussie. Mais la particularité de Jesús, on a vu beaucoup de choses sur la durabilité là. On peut dire que ça démarre par les sols, oui c'est vrai. Ça démarre surtout par l'économie. Il faut gagner un peu d'argent pour pouvoir faire de la durabilité. Mais c'est aussi, et avant tout, à mon sens, les hommes qui sont là. Puisque les hommes peuvent détruire, peuvent reconstruire, peuvent améliorer. Juste, je finis ma longue introduction. Donc voilà, la durabilité, la qualité, c'est aussi les hommes qui font partie du terroir. Et c'est ce dont va nous parler Jesús, pardon. Il va nous parler d'agriculture régénérative et aussi de systemic coffee. Et maintenant, je me laisse parler.
Bonjour. My name is Jesús Salazar. I am very grateful to Christophe and Chocolate de Café, because these years of friendship and collaboration brought me here today to keep sharing with them and with you. So, before coming into coffee work, I used to be, like this, okay. I used to be a teacher, so I wrote my speech. Part 1, integration. I founded Cafeologia and began my coffee pathway as Cafeologo in 2010. Nowadays, we are part of the whole and complex coffee cycle. I have never felt part of a coffee chain, by the way. We grow coffees on a forest in our own farm. But also we have 7 years working with 230 farmers in 3 beneficios comunitarios, not precisely washing stations or wet mills. And from the very beginning we worked with 20 coffee farmers, our funders and first mentors. All this is possible thanks to a 365 days year working team of agronomy, which most of the time are more anthropologists. The coffees come to our warehouse and dry mill in the most beautiful magic town in Mexico, San Cristobal de las Casas. A place and the center of a region where reality speaks rich, clear and loud. That place and its history shapes our identity. A strong team of quality control works on the physical and sensory analysis. 4 of them, Cup of Excellent judges, including a head judge. 4 of them also SCA CVI certified copers. 2 of them CQI QP2, and also 1 QP instructor. As I said, a strong team. The coffee lab basically is our business decisions room. From the warehouse, coffees have 3 destinations. 1, export, were very curated roasters, curated in terms of harmony of philosophy, honors us here in France, as well in Denmark, Switzerland, US, mainly. Second destination, Mexican roasters. And third, our own 2 brands of roasted coffee and 5 shops. All we learned by creating this coffee cycle is shared in terms of education to coffee professionals in Mexico and Colombia, where we found a unique partnership with La Palma y Tucán. Classic industry training, certifications from CQI, SCA, and Cup of Excellence, and tailored by Cafeologia signature course, build our educational program. I shared this kind of resume of our activity for one simple reason. As you may notice, we have an integrated company. And I am sure I do not have to explain how virtuous is to have a short and circular model. However, the deep and essential integration is not the one related to our business model. I will share an example. As part of our agronomy team works Inés Vázquez, a woman in her 30s that has been part of Cafeologia for 13 years. As a Mayan woman, she appeared in the video, she belongs to the Tzotzil culture and she came to work in one of our coffee shops 13 years ago. There, she became a barista, a professional and true one, and for 11 years she was part and then the leader of 5 coffee shops, not only in our beloved San Cristobal, but also in Monterrey, Cuernavaca, and Toluca, important cities in Mexico where we had operations. One day, Inés decided to move back to San Pedro Cotzinam in the highlands of Chiapas, her community, the place where I started working with 14 farmers 14 years ago. There we had a beneficio comunitario and Inés became the leader of it. The phenomenon looks like this. A woman comes back to the community, one very based on practices and costumes, with not many opportunities for women, but with great natural resources and strong cultural traditions. A woman with great skills leading, but also with great barista and copper skills. A woman who comes back to her growing coffee family and that now she runs and organizes a beneficio comunitario with 150 farmers to process some of the most beautiful coffees of Mexico. So, the holistic integration of Inés Vázquez in the coffee cycle, in the community life, in the company strategy, that is a deep and meaningful integration. Let me say it with simple words. The personal integration, the people integration, that is, and not the vertical integration of the business model, the true key to success. Like Inés, I could tell the story of Nidia, Miguel, Carlos, Berenice, Nayeli, Toño, and many others that express very clearly that the expansion of personal talents is the milestone of a complex and strong project. That wouldn't be possible with a human vision, a vision of brotherhood and trust. Part 2, regeneration. Regenerative agriculture is everywhere. Seems like it needs no explanation. Regenerative agriculture and coffee farming usually means restoration of soil life, biodiversity, water cycle, and carbon capture and storage. There is no need to explain the importance of these goals. However, there is something new and something old about regenerative agriculture and coffee farming. Organic agriculture, biodynamic farming, agroecological practices, permaculture, and many other initiatives have been flying for years in the air without the power to already have made the necessary change. From our experience growing coffee and working with coffee farmers, families, and communities, there is a key point still missing. Any practice relies on the people, and the people in charge of making practices come true. But these people is usually demanded to be part of a structure that does not recognize their needs, their capabilities, interests, and future. In our experience, regeneration begins at community level. And that aspect is still missing in the actual initiatives. In the best cases, community is the last step or the implicit one. In Cafeologia, we have done a journey, not a program, not a strategy, that begins by validating and making conscious about the role of the person, the family, and the community, in order to touch the ecosystems and farms. And that has been the true regenerative strategy. Most important than that, it is necessary to heal relationships. it is necessary to heal relationships. Or if you want, to regenerate relationships. The coffee model has hurt too much, has hurt the environment, has hurt the social tissue and the family structure, has damaged the nexus between people and other structures like government or companies, has weakened the bonds that are meant to be a source of trust and companion. It is impossible to be a coffee person without realizing this condition and without working on healing or regenerating the most important ingredient of the coffee cycle, the human relationships. At the end, we say we want to create a system, eco and human, where coffee flourishes with all its actors flourishing as well. Part 3, systemic. Everything is a system or a part of a system. However, we live, work, and die acting as individuals or islands. Coffee is a system as well, much more than a supply chain. The classical logic behind our coffee work is the one of a factory, deeply influenced still by the Industrial Revolution. We grow, harvest, trade, transform, and supply coffee in a very anti-natural and anti-communal way. Then we feel surprised when the chain is threatened or weakened or at risk. And economic solutions are expected to heal where a connection disease underlies. The linear way of living, thinking, and acting has proven to be problematic more than providential. But this linear thinking is cheaper, faster, and really appealing to our expectations and desires. Focus on productivity, yield, margin, profit, efficiency. That is what really matters to conquest your goal, is often said. The linear way of thinking pulls apart, break away in order to define, to clearly identify, and at the end, to control. By separating, we think we gain more. By not mixing, by clearly defining, we feel we are more safe. By not sharing, we believe we are more unique, distinctive, and valuable. I could give many examples, but time flies. Our experience is different. We have lived in coffee with a systemic perspective for 14 years. A systemic style demands a series of attitudes, postures, and behavior that reflect the way the nature and society actually are, where the most important thing to be aware and to care is the sense of totality, composed by myriads of individualities, co-living as an organism. I will share another example, the last one. When I am asked to introduce Cafeologia or to define it, I always struggle. We can say it is a company, or a community, or more recently, an ecosystem. But those definitions lack of sense of totality. Saying it is a company only answers an economic question. Saying it is a community maybe transmits the social cohesion, but leaves behind many other important characteristics. If I use ecosystem as a metaphor, sounds trendy and romantic, but the word ecosystem emphasizes too much our vision of nature. There is no word to describe what we are, or even better, to describe how we see ourselves and how we see others. And of course, how we see coffee as a beautiful way to keep together nature and human beings. We in Cafeologia are diffuse, not easy to define. We change and evolve. We go back and forward. We get lost and find ourselves. We try and try and try. We are more like the vegetal kingdom, with more than one heart or one brain. We are more a mycelium or a bunch of families of microorganisms. We're a system, a union of things, a totality made of singularities making a totality. No legal, economical, transactional perspective recognizes this. Still, we dive in today with our nature, sometimes with defiance, sometimes with gentle moves. But what is the key point here? Well, coffee and the coffee cycle, coffee is a system, not an economic system, not a supplying system, a living one. So we perfectly match each other in our nature. Human beings and coffee have the same substance. And then we look for pathways to allow us to collide. The final part 4 and the shortest. Yes. My first impression when I started to get interested in coffee was, this is chaos. In ancient philosophy, chaos is different to logos. I realized my work and my choice as an effort to bring some logos into coffee. And logos is a very complex and subtle praxis. So thank you very much. Muchas gracias, Cristo.
Merci beaucoup. We can listen to you for hours. I already said that somewhere, I think.